for Jesus of Nazareth who was crucified. He has been raised. He isn't here. Look, here's the place where they had laid him. Go tell his disciples, especially Peter, that he is going ahead of you into Galilee. And you will see him there just as he said. Overcome with terror and dread, they fled from the tomb. They said nothing to anyone because they were afraid. And that's where the text ends. Now there is a little addendum here because somebody decided that can't end right there. That's not a good ending. And so they've added some of the other stories that we know from the other Gospels. And as I was thinking about that this week, because this is a lectionary text, it's always tempting to go to one of the more elaborate texts, because I love these resurrection stories. To me, they are so profoundly beautiful and touching and inspiring that leap to believe in that which is so illogical. So this sparse text with this abrupt ending, it's so tempting not to do this one. Because the addendums that follow are definite, you can tell that they're not from that particular text. But that is so much what the Bible's about, how the human stories are, is that there are a variety of voices coming together as we tell our story. But what I have been thinking about this week is fear. That reaction. It's a flood of hormones that takes over. Whether we stand and fight or we run in fear. Here we have the women running. And what's worse is that they tell nobody what they've heard and what they've witnessed. And what a pity it would be if that was what was left of Jesus' ministry, is people running and not saying a word. But that's not the gospel call. And I think God saw to it that even if part of a text was missing, that other voices would rise up, just like they're doing today, rising up and saying that God's love is real, that the love and light of Christ can be counted on, and that no matter how afraid we might be, no matter how we long just to shut the door and run away, that we can't. We can't because we have been called. And dear friends, the very fact that you are here today means that you are called. You are called to love. You are called to do something. We are called not just to skittle around through life like some little frightened rodent. We are called to be God's love in this world. And friends, each and every one of you are God's good news. That no matter how dire the world seems to be, and truthfully looking out here on this beautiful wisteria and the sun and the children are playing, you can't see them right at the moment, but we know that they're playing out there. It's easy to think that the world is all light, but we know that it isn't. And we know that while God gives us this wondrous, beautiful moment where we come together to celebrate our love for each other, our love for God's good world, that there will be times of darkness where we have to enter those tombs again and say, I don't know how I'm going to roll away this stone. But there's always someone else. God does not let us down. So if you find yourself constantly pushing against a stone that just won't seem to roll away, it might be time just to back off just a bit and see who God is sending to help you. See who God is sending to give you just a little message. Take note, because it's Easter. Take note, because it's Easter season. It's a season. It's not just this one day. It's a season where we get used once again to being people of resurrection, to being people of God's love, to being people who are spreading the good news. See, it's not just all about receiving. Yes, we do need to receive. And that love grows in our hearts. And we share it. We share it in unlikely places and unusual situations. So my friends, my prayer for you this morning is that whatever empty tomb that you think that you need to keep that stone lodged in your heart, that you'll just let God help you. Move that stone and let the light in, because you've got work to do. I have work to do. And we have work to do together. There's much to do, much love to share. So we're going to take just a moment. We're going to let the story unfold in our hearts. And we're just going to sit in silence for a moment or two. And then, well, when Donna feels the Spirit giving her a tug, she'll bring us out with a bit of music. But I pray that you'll use just this moment or two to sit with God and get comfortable with that stone rolling away.